Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda, and I'll be guiding us through our practice today. My question for you today is, do you know that you belong? We all have this innate desire to be a part of a community, to know that we are deeply loved. Luke shares this story of Jesus in his gospel from chapter 17. On the way to Jerusalem, he, Jesus, was passing along between Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers, who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. And then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. And he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answered, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner?" And he said to him, "Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well." Here we have Jesus in that borderland between Samaria and Judea. And he meets these lepers who are cast out from their villages because of their disease. And one of them is a Samaritan who is further distanced from the Jews. These are people that the religious leaders of the days, that many of Jesus' disciples would have run from. And yet Jesus unquestioningly healed them and included them in his kingdom. Do you know that you belong? And if you do, when is the last time that you just praised God and thanked him for his love? Today, we're going to go through a flow. It will build as we move through it, so adapt it as we go, make it work for your body. And let's just spend this time in worship and in praise and thanksgiving for this God who loves us so intimately and completely. Come to a sitting position, elevating your hips up on a blanket or a block. Find your sitting bones. Begin to align your body, crown of the head floating up towards the ceiling, shoulders over hips. Hips heavy in the block. Begin to find breath. Breathing fully into the lungs, the rib cage, all the way down to the pelvic floor. And exhale up the body. So back and forth here. Just breathing down the body slowly. Exhaling up. And begin to imagine that breath just moving in a beautiful oval. No beginning and no end. Each breath lengthening and expanding, strengthening and stabilizing. How does your body feel today? What is comfortable? What is tense or tight? Where are you emotionally today? What are you feeling? Are you distracted? Are you focused? Just noticing, no judgment. Do you know that you belong? accepting God's love, pouring over you, pouring through you. Let your hands come down to the mat, and on that next inhale, leading with breath, let the arms rise up, palms together. As you exhale, hands come down, back and forth here. 2 more times here. And that next inhale, as the arms rise, let the gaze come up. And as the arms come down, bow your head. As the gaze comes up, notice sensations in the front of the body. As you look down, notice what's going on in your back. 1 more breath here. Leave that right arm down on the mat. Bring that left hand up and over, stretch to the side. Gaze comes up. And then cartwheel the arms all the way around and find a twist. That right arm coming to the outside of that left leg. Interlacing the fingers, palms come forward, arms rise high. Exhale, bringing that left hand down, right arm over. Gaze up. Rise all the way up and cartwheel. And breathe. One more time each direction. Interlacing the fingers, stretch as you reach up. Let that right arm flick down, left arm comes over. Anchoring through that left hip. Cartwheel into the twist. Interlacing fingers, come forward. This time add a bit of a cat stretch. Bring the arms all the way up. Find a bit of cow. Left arm comes down, right arm comes over. And cartwheel into your twist. The next inhale, bring the arms out to the side. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Noticing what's going on in the muscles of the back, maybe even in the spine. As you're ready, take a deep breath in, palms together, and exhaling, hands to heart. Closing your eyes, taking 2 breaths, again, just noticing any sensations in the body. As you're ready, meet me in table pose. So come onto your hands and your knees, bring blocks towards the front of the mat. Spread fingers wide, knees underneath hips. Eyes of the elbows face in as the shoulders externally rotate. Use those abdominals to support you as you come into cat. And lengthen through the spine as you come into cow. Back and forth here, cat to cow, 3 more times. How does this feel different than it did when you were sitting? The movement of the upper body the same. Gravitational pull different. Meet me back in table. Bring your hands one handprint forward and find a kneeling plank. Find the strength here, particularly in the transverse abdominals, connecting the hips. And exhale your way down to the mat. Ribcage draws forward as you come into your low cobra. Come in and out of low cobra 2 more times. And as you're ready, stay in low cobra and engaging the legs, engaging the abdominals, letting the shoulders glide down the side of the body. And as you're ready, come through table, curl the toes underneath, bend your knees, and meet me in that first downward facing dog. Rib cage draws in towards the thighs, knees are deeply bent. Release through the neck as you shake your head out, no and yes. Begin to pedal through your feet. On the next inhale, heels rise. On the next exhale, heels come down towards the mat. And check in and just notice what downward facing dog is telling you about your body and your mind right now. On the next inhale, raise the right leg to the sky, draw the gaze forward, and bring your foot in between your hands. Begin to drop that back knee down and up to the mat. Just tapping and lifting, beginning to stretch out the front of the hip. And let that back knee drop down, sinking into the hip. Raise the arms up, find a back bend, finding length from fingers to knees. And then exhale, hands down to the inside of the foot. Sweep that right arm up as you twist towards the inside of the front leg. And exhaling, hands to either side of the foot. Maybe using blocks if that's better for you. Just beginning to straighten and bend the front leg. And can you draw the hips straight back? As you're ready, find your hamstring stretch. Tension but not struggle in the back of that front thigh. Let the body fold down over the hips. As you're ready, bend the front knee. Bring hands to either side of that foot. Raise the back leg up. Float the front foot to the back. Meet me in a full plank. Knees dropping down, perhaps coming through grasshopper this time. Just letting the chest glide about 2 inches above the floor, through the arms and into your low cobra. Coming through table, meet me in downward facing dog. On the next inhale, the left leg rises. Gaze comes forward, foot comes through the hands, back knee taps and lifts. As you're ready, let that back knee come down to the mat. Rise up into your lunge. Find the stretch all the way up and down the right front side of the body. Hands down, pressing into that right hand, twisting towards the inside of that front leg. Left arm rises. And exhaling, hand to either side of the foot. Stretching and releasing that front leg. Again, blocks are optional. They can help if you're tight, if you have short arms. And as you're ready, just extend through that front leg. Let the body come over the hips. Head release. Again, just noticing, maybe you can bring that right hip back to center. One more breath here. Get you ready, front knee bends. Hands come to either side of that foot. Raise the back leg, float the front foot back, knee in plank. And just coming through a low plank or grasshopper, low cobra. Meeting me in downward facing dog. Engaging through the abdominals. Keeping those hips reaching towards where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. Begin to walk your hands in towards your feet. And bend your knees. And let your head come down towards the mat. And find this first forward fold, knees deeply bent. Begin to play with it a little bit. Lift and lower those knees a couple of times. A little more length in the spine. Hands to shins, rise up. Can you bring that body parallel to the floor? Exhale down and pressing through the feet, meet me all the way up in mountain pose. Hands to heart. Find mountain. Find a focal point on the wall in front of you, engaging through the abdominals. Go ahead and bring that right leg forward. Find your lunge, deep breath in. Go ahead and take that right hand to the small of your back, left arm across, twisting towards that inside of the front leg. And then consider just dropping this back arm down towards the mat. Raise that front arm, finding a little more length up and down the left side of the body. And cartwheel that left hand to the inside of your foot as you rise into your twist here. Hands to either side of the foot. Begin to straighten and bend that front leg. As you're ready, find your stretch. Let your head come down and release through the neck. And then lunge knee over ankle and sweep that front leg all the way up to the sky, three-legged dog. And bring the foot back down. And engaging through the abdominals, just walk back into forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Pressing through your feet, come all the way up, mountain pose. Exhaling, hands to heart. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Step into your right foot, focal point in front of you. Find your balance as your left leg comes forward. Sweep the arms all the way up as you find your lunge. Left hand to the small of the back, right arm across that leg. Gently exhale into twist. As you're ready, just consider dropping that back arm down, raising that front arm. Palm faces behind you, lengthening all the way from that back foot up to the fingertips. And then cartwheel down. Hand coming to the inside of the foot, other arm reaching for the sky. And as you're ready, bring your hand down to either side of that foot. And again, begin to straighten and bend the leg. Use the props if that's better for you. Let the head come down. Shake your head up, no, and yes. Can you just get comfortable with the stretch wherever it is, no expectations. Accepting your body as you are in the same way that Jesus accepts you as you are. Bring that front knee over the ankle, hands to either side of the foot. Sweep that back foot up into a 3-legged dog. And meet me in downward facing dog. And check in. And engaging through the abdominals, walk the hands back. Find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up, body halfway, exhale down. Pressing through your feet, find mountain pose. Hands to heart. 2 breaths here. What are you feeling? On the next inhale, arms rise high. This time with the arms up, finding balance. And again, your option is just to keep the hands at your heart. Press through that left foot, bring that right leg forward, find your lunge. Come into a back bend, crescent lunge. Exhaling, hand to heart, hinge at the hips and bring the arms to the outside. So you can go back to the previous flow if that's better for your body with the high twist. One more breath here, stacking shoulders. Go ahead and raise that top arm up. Bring that bottom arm to the inside of the foot. And if you choose to, roll to the outside of both feet, dropping hips towards the mat. As you're ready, release. Come back to center. Bring that back foot halfway up and begin to roll through your feet. Again, if you have short arms, it might be a little easier. If you have blocks. Gently settle both feet flat on the mat. Find your hamstring stretch here. One more breath. As You're ready, gently bring the weight to the front leg. Bring the hands forward of your foot. Raise that back leg into needle pose. Leg reaching up to the sky. And just bring that leg forward, meeting the front foot. Find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. And pressing through the feet, rise all the way up, mountain pose. Hands to heart. Inhaling, arms rise. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Bring your feet back to plank. And maybe from plank now coming into chaturanga. And just a few inches above the floor, coming to the tops of your feet as you rise into downward facing dog, upward facing dog, and then meeting knee in downward facing dog. Engaging through the abdominals, support as the navel draws in, up towards the ribs. Hands come back to the feet, forward fold. Hands to shins, body comes up halfway, exhale down, pressing through the feet, rise high. Hands to heart. Check in for 2 breaths. Next inhale, arms rise up, staying here, finding balance. Pressing into the right foot, left leg comes forward in lunge. Finding your twist, high, or maybe now low, hinging forward at the hips, bringing the outside of that bottom arm to the outside of the leg, creating a little traction between upper arm and leg, between your hands. As you're ready, the top arm rises to the sky. Bottom arm comes to the inside of your feet. Maybe you roll to the outside of your feet. Breathing in, breathing out. Unwind, hands to either side of the foot. Bring the back foot halfway up the mat and begin to rock through your feet. Back and forth here. Press into your feet, let your head come down, shake it out now, in, yes. One more breath here. As you're ready, that back leg rises high, hands come to the front. Back leg rises high, move the blocks out of the way. And then gently just bring that back foot up to meet the front. Forward fold. Hands to shins, body rises halfway up, exhale down. Pressing through your feet, come all the way up to mountain pose, palms together, exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling, arms rise, exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, body rises up halfway. Exhale down, find your plank. From plank, however you choose to do it, find your way down to the mat. Design this flow for you body, mind, and soul in this moment. Curl the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog or child. On the next inhale, right leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through the hands. Sweep the arms all the way up. This time, pivot into warrior two. Come in and out of warrior a couple of times, just straightening and bending that front leg, arms rising and forward. And meet me in a strong warrior. That back arm comes down, front arm comes over. And cartwheel all the way over with the arm, side angle bend. Back and forth here a couple more times. Maybe you come into a bind with that back arm. One more time. And then staying here, raise that top arm up. Maybe finding a block. Bring that bottom arm to the block or to the mat. And begin to straighten out that bottom leg. So that front leg, straighten out. Triangle pose. And can you really use those core muscles in triangle? So you're kind of just floating the hand on the block or your leg. And as you exhale, lunge forward, come all the way back into side peaceful warrior. And then cartwheel over, finding your lunge. From lunge, take that front foot to the back, three-legged dog. And meet me in downward facing dog. Check in for 2 breaths. On the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Rise up into your lunge. And pivot into your warrior. You come in and out of warrior here. As you're ready, settle into the warrior pose. Drop the back arm. Lift the front, peaceful warrior. Use those abdominals, side angle bend. Just flow freely back and forth, maybe coming into that bind. This time when you come into side angle bend, stay there, raise that top arm up. Bring the bottom arm down, maybe you come directly to the floor or your ankle, maybe you're using a block. Begin to straighten out that front leg. Find breath. Can you find ease in this pose as well? Where do you find the release? As you're ready, bend that front leg. Pivot around. Find your lunge. Sweep the front leg up in the back, three-legged dog. And meet me in downward facing dog. So last downward facing dog of the practice. Just breathing in, breathing out. Noticing what has changed since you started your practice today. Scan the body. Legs, hips, back, shoulder girdle, arms, abs, neck. Meet me in plank. Stay in a strong plank for 3 breaths. And as you're ready, drop down to your knees. Child to table twice. And come into child and stay there. Massage out your forehead. Maybe take your legs a little wider or a little narrower. Just find the stretch that's right for you. Feel the body soften. Feel God's love pouring over you and through you. As you're ready, press through your hands and come up to a sitting position. Bring your feet forward. Lift your heels just a bit as the feet come wide on the mat and just dip the legs side to side. And as you're ready, bring your knees over to the right and explore what's going on in that large glute muscle. Zigzag and circle. Find a tight place and come up beside it. And go the other direction. The same thing on this side. Just explore the entirety of the muscle. And then find that tight place. Begin to massage it. And then sweep the knees back and forth one more time. As you're ready, bring the feet to center. Come all the way down onto your back. Bring your arms out to the side. Knees up, shins parallel to the floor. And gently just drop your knees about 2/3 of the way down to the right. Up and over 2/3 of the way down to the left. Back and forth here. Maybe the head moves opposite the legs. As you're ready, come all the way over onto the right. And bring your hand across. And actually bring your hand beyond your other hand. So just back and forth over your hand a couple of times. And then bring your top hand over your bottom forearm and your bicep and your chest. And sweep it across again. Same thing. One more time. And then one time, just bring that arm all the way up, straight up and over. And straight all the way out to the side. And the shoulder blades rest on the mat. Maybe this is enough stretch for you and it feels really good. If you'd like a little more, you can take that top arm to that top leg and guide that top hip a little further forward. As you're ready, release and come to center. At center, bring the knees in, give yourself a hug, and rock side to side. And then as you're ready, just roll over all the way over onto that other side. So again, you're going to take that palm back and forth over the other hand. Just a few times. And then you're going to bring the arm over the top arm, top hand over the bottom arm, forearm, bicep, chest, and across. So 2 more times here. Glide the hand. And then once, bring that arm straight up and over, and straight all the way back. The shoulder blades come to the mat. Gaze away from the knees and find your twist. If you want a little more, that left arm comes across that right leg. Just gently drawing that top knee a little bit further towards the bottom knee. As you're ready, release. Arms out to the side. Gently come to center. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a hug one more time. Rock side to side. And then hands on top of the knees. Just circle the knees on the ceiling, massaging out all around that sacrum bone. That bone that connects the tailbone to the spine. And circle the other direction. And gently bring the knees into the rib cage and away. Back and forth here. One foot down and then the other. Knees stay bent. Just notice the way the body is settled to the mat. Bring the arms all the way up, palms facing in. And thump the shoulders down and do that twice more. Bring the hands down to the hips and extend the legs long. Turn the palms up. You belong. Created uniquely, the good works that God has planned in advance for you to do. Feel His love pour over you and through you. From the book All Along You Were Blooming. And when she took her seat at the table, she did not question if she belonged. She found she did not have to be all that she thought she'd have to be in order to feel connected and receive the love she truly needs. Slowly and gently bring yourself back to this time and this place. Reconnect to your breath. Notice the way that your body feels on the mat. Begin to bring movement back. Wiggle fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles, turn your head side to side. That next inhale, let the arms rise up and overhead and stretch as long as you can. Right fingertips and left toes and left fingertips and right toes. And as you're ready, draw your knees in and roll over onto your side, supporting your head with one arm. Stay here for a few breaths. As you're ready, come up to a sitting position. Find your sitting bones. Reassess body, mind, and soul. What has changed since you came to the mat today? What has not changed? Just noticing. And that next inhale, bring your arms up and overhead, palms together, and exhaling, hands to heart, joining me in prayer. Holy God, we are overwhelmed by your love, by the purity of it, by the lack of expectation, by the knowledge that we are simply loved because you created us, and we are yours. God, we thank you for this sacrifice of our Lord, tearing down all the boundaries and the barriers between us, so that every time we are ready to turn back, you are there with open arms. God, as we leave our mats today, let us love others the way that you love us. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today.